afternoon.
Now we're 6 hours from Africa, so I guess it would be 6 hours from Italy. Okay, I assume you can see that, called Getting Started. You know, this is really important to get this part right, because if you start someone right in the business, then they're going hopefully to duplicate exactly the way you started them. So, you know, I always tell people that your first contact with somebody, how you talk to them, how you bring up the business, how you eventually discuss the business to get them to actually look at the business, all of that is their first training. In other words, if you come to someone about the business and you're pushy, or you're coming on a little bit too strong, there will be people who might be interested in the business, but because they're looking at you and thinking that they have to do exactly what you're doing, they might say no to the business because that doesn't fit their personality. They don't like somebody who's pushy. They don't like somebody who's trying to sell them on something. And so they don't want to have to be that person that tries to sell other people. So a lot of times somebody might say no to the business because of the way you come on, the way you do things. And so that's why you want to be careful and make sure that you do things in a way that is going to impress people, not offend people. You want to make sure that you get them started in such a way that it's simple, it's easy, and that they can duplicate, because you want them to do everything the same way you did it. And that was something that took me a while to get. And when I initially got involved in this industry, is how important it was to keep it simple and be duplicatable. You know, not get your personality caught up in it, not get caught up in being perfect in everything you do, because perfection is not necessarily going to win people over. I mean, people need to know that it's something that they can do because it's simple and they don't have to be perfect. So anyway, let's talk about getting started. And I want to preface this before I even begin. We have something called the Blueprint for Success on Vimeo. And so a new person, if they go to Vimeo and look up vimeo.com and go to Blueprint for Success, they get all of our GPG trainings, not only on how to get started, but how to invite people to see the business, how to show the business. Everything is there. And so it's important that you pass this on to new people, because otherwise they wouldn't know to go there. The other thing is, when people get started in the business, I understand that people will get started in one of three ways. In other words, some people want to join Jeunesse because they merely want to buy the product at wholesale. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not interested in building a business. They're not interested in selling the product. All they want to do is get their product at a big discount. And that's fine with me. I could, if I had 1,000 wholesale customers, people just buying the product, that would all add up to volume. I would be extremely happy. But then there's some people who get involved because they want to make a part-time income. In other words, they want to get the product at wholesale, and then they want to go online, go on social media, or even talk to people face-to-face and just sell the product because they believe in it so that much. And that's what I love about this product, is once people use it, they don't want to be without it. You know, I have a neighbor who swears by the serum. I mean, and they won't be without the serum as a customer, just as somebody who wants to buy it wholesale. So there's nothing wrong with somebody who wants to buy it wholesale, and there's nothing wrong with someone who wants to get in and make it just a part-time income, make a few $100s a month, retailing our product. And with social media, they have all kinds of avenues to do that. And then there's a third group of people who get involved in our business because they want a career. They want to build a full-time income. They want to replace their job income, or they want to add a second income to their household. And so when somebody gets involved in the business, no matter what option, I want to make sure they know all the different reasons people enroll in our business. But, you know, I need, as their sponsor, I need to know what their reason for enrolling is. Do they just want to buy it wholesale? Do they want to retail part-time, or do they want to build a career? Because that determines how I help them. In other words, if I assume everybody wants a career, then I'm going to be pushing them along building a business, and it might not be what they want. You know, if somebody wants to make $500 a month, I will treat them differently than somebody who wants to make $5,000 a month. So until I know, I won't know exactly how to educate them and what direction to point them in, what videos to make sure they watch, what tools to use. I won't know where to point them in what direction unless I know what it is that they want. So therefore, then I get them enrolled in the business, and we all know how to do that, where you send them to your website and they can join. This is really a key factor in getting started, and that is ordering the product package. I want them to order the biggest package they can order. You know, why is that? Well, it's really twofold. Number one, I want them, if they're starting this business as a career, I want them to try every product they possibly can. Every product they can. When I got involved, I ordered the Ambassador Pack because I wanted to try every product. And I want them to understand they're in their own business now. So there are people who are going to ask them questions about certain products. And if they've never tried them, people are going to look at them as not very serious about their own business. So if somebody asked you about Reserve, what does it taste like, and you have never tasted it, it's going to make me as that person question, wow, they must not be very serious if they don't even know their own products and they don't use them. I mean, come on. I mean, you wouldn't own a McDonald's restaurant and not have tried all the menu just so that you can answer questions when people have one about a particular product. So that's the first reason. The second reason I wanted to order the biggest product is because I know this is a business of duplication. And so therefore, when they sponsor someone, trust me, that new person is going to say, well, which package did you buy? Because I want to follow what you did. So if you say, well, I bought the cheapest package I could, they're going to say, okay, then I'll buy that cheap one too. If somebody says, I bought the biggest package I could get, I bought the Ambassador Pack, there's a good chance they're going to say, well, that's what I want to buy too. So you are the example. Everything you do sets the pace, sets the tone, sets the example. You have to be duplicatable, and people are going to duplicate what you do, and nothing's worse than starting with a basic package and have to keep telling people, oh yeah, I started a basic package. And then everybody in your business starts with a basic package. You know, it's much better for them. I don't want to put anyone in debt, but I want them to stretch. I don't want them to do the most comfortable. I want them to do something that stretches them a little bit so that they have a reason to turn around and get their income back, a reason to move forward to replace what their original investment was. All right. So once they've done that, then let me put my thing here. Okay, next. Okay, I want to set up smart delivery. So you'll notice at the top of their website, there is a thing called smart delivery. So you'll point out where that is, at which point you'll have them sign up for smart delivery. And have them understand that they have to purchase 60 CV every month in order to accumulate volume to get paid on. In other words, to keep their business active for commissions. And so they can either try to remember that, or better yet, it's better to be on smart delivery and not have to think about it. In other words, they just go on smart delivery, pick the product they want, and they can change it at any time. They pick that one product they want so they know that they're always qualified for their commissions, that their volume will accumulate. Otherwise, if they're not making that purchase every month, their volume could flush, and they don't want that to happen because they want to get paid on every bit of volume that comes through their business. And then rather than having to remember and forgetting possibly, it'd be much better to be on smart delivery and have it taken care of for them. All right. The next thing we want to do is we want to set up a strategy session for that new person. And in that strategy session, the first thing you're going to do is congratulate them, because, you know, we always have a little bit of apprehension a little bit of fear once we made a decision. Did we make the right decision? And when people congratulate us and reassure us we made the right decision, that's a good thing. And of course, what we want to do with that new person is share with them their line of support. What's their upline? Who's their sponsor? Who's the next sponsor up? The next sponsor up? The next sponsor? Who's their second line? And all the way up. We want them to know what their line of support is. And sometimes it's nice, even if you get a new person and your sponsor might get them on the phone to help welcome your new person. I mean, that's always a good feeling. It always makes that person feel they've made the right decision. This is probably the most important thing you can do in a strategy session, is find out what their why is, why they're doing it. We have an amazing philosopher, a business philosopher. His name is Jim Rohn. If you ever get a chance to research Jim Rohn, he has so many tapes and books and videos out there. He was an amazing leader for the network marketing industry, and he has since passed. But his materials, I mean, people quote him all the time. And this was an area that he talked about when he first started in the business. He had a mentor called Earl Schoaf. And he talks about, Earl said to him in the very beginning, show me your list of goals. Show me your list of goals. And he says, well, I don't have it. And he says, well, you don't have it with you, like it's in the car or you left it home? No, I don't have one at all. And Earl Schoaf said to him, if you don't have a list of goals, then I can pretty much guess what your bank account is right now, what the balance is in your bank account within a few $100s. Because goals are that essential. Knowing what you want in life and knowing where you want to go. And there's an incredible amount of personal development trainers who have focused on this. I know that Jim Rohn spent a great deal of time on helping people determine what their goals were. And, if I was going to do a training on goals and why, I could probably do a training, but it would probably last about 2 to 3 hours. It's that critical. But, I tell people, when you try to, when you set out to determine your why, it might take a few days. In other words, one of the things Jim Rohn used to say is make a list of what you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. What do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years? What do you want to be? What do you want to have? Where do you want to go? What do you want to share? What do you want to see yourself 10 years from now? And what do you see? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be living? Where do you want to be driving? What do you want your family to be experiencing? What kind of experiences? Where do you want? What kind of charitable things did you want to do? What do you want to do in the next 10 years? It's amazing that as children, we can tell you as a little kid who we're going to marry, what we're going to do when we grow up. But when we become adults, it's almost like our dream machine is broken. And I have to pull teeth to get people to start thinking and writing down what their goals are for the next 10 years. So if anyone on this call today has never done that, I implore you to do that now. I mean, do that this next week. Sit down with a pad of paper. Where do you want to be in the next 10 years? And then of those goals, once you've listed them out, which ones do you think can accomplish in the next 3 years? Which ones do you think you could accomplish in the next year? And really break them down. So you start to analyze, where am I headed? And what are the steps I can be taking here over the next 12 months to get there? Where do you want to be health-wise? Do you want to be at a certain weight? Do you want to be at a certain fitness level? What is it that you want? And then once you do that, that is what leads you to goals. Because everything on that list has a price tag. For the most part, has a price tag. Even fitness, if you're going to have a fitness coach, that's a price tag. But most of those things have a price tag. And, setting your goals in this business is so easy because you can look at the positions in this business. Say you look at a Sapphire 25. The Sapphire 25 just in cycles would be making $875 a month or $10,500 a year. a Sapphire 50 would be making somewhere around $1,750 a month, or approximately $21,000 a year, just in cycles. Now, we're not talking about matching. We're not talking about retail sales bonuses. We're not talking about any of that thing. And of course, it's easy to figure out when you do 100 cycles at $35, so that's $3,500 a month. So all of a sudden, you can put your whys and you can see what you want to accomplish over the next year or the next 3 years, even the next 5 years. And you can see, okay, this is the kind of income I'm going to need to make all of those dreams come true. So this is something I spend a great deal of time on. Have them during the strategy session download JMobile. And JMobile, of course, has a great deal of videos, trainings, lead organization, how you can organize your leads and things like that. Make sure they have that tool. Tell them when all the trainings are. Make sure you tell them, like this training on Sunday, make sure they understand where the trainings are on the internet. And also, let them know in their back office under tools, as you can see here, there's getting started trainings back there, so they can learn from that. But most importantly, for our organization, I'd really implore you to make sure people know about the Vimeo Blueprint for Success, because that's really a critical tool. And there it is. So next thing, I want to help them become an executive in the next 48 hours. And that has to do with inviting people and showing them the business. So the first thing you want to do is make a list. And when you make a list, I always tell people, empty your brain on a tablet of paper. And they say, Paula, that'll take me days. I say, it'll make you rich. So empty your brain in a tablet of paper. What I tell them to do is list everyone they know, from the time they were a kid to every organization they belonged to, every school they attended, every neighborhood they lived in, every job they've ever had. List everybody you know. And don't think about Jeunesse, because there's going to be some people on this list that are too young, too old, people you never would want to do business with. But when you empty the list, sometimes when you're looking at those names, they remind you of somebody you haven't thought of. And then you'll write that name down. Or maybe it'll remind you of somebody who lived on a certain street. Or, I used to keep my list in my car, because when I go down the road and I go by a certain street, they remind me of somebody who lived on the street that might not have been on my list. So, make a list and use that and keep adding to it, because you're going to keep meeting people as you're out and about. What you're trying to determine is who you want, or who you're willing to let in to this business with you, somebody that you want to work with, and you can be selected. There used to be a time when people would say, hey, if somebody holds a mirror up to their mouth and they breathe and it fogs the mirror, then show them the business. I don't believe that. I believe you need to be selective, because there's going to be a lot of people that are not motivated. In fact, 50% of the population are not eligible for your business. I'll be very clear with that. 50% of the population are not hardwired to be entrepreneurs. They would rather be in a job, and that's good, because we need people like that. But sometimes they get in your business and they fool you that they want to be an entrepreneur, when in reality they don't. And a lot of times they waste your time. They create a lot of emotional up and down, because they say one thing and they do nothing. And so I've certainly had a lot of those people sign up in my business, that they signed up, they were going to be the best of the best, the top of the top, and then they disappeared. And I get my emotions high because I was excited about them, and then they disappear, and then my emotions get low. And my emotions was like a roller coaster. And that's where I learned that it's important to keep your emotions level. In other words, I wait to see what somebody's going to do. I don't get excited no matter what somebody says. Actions speak the loudest. But on my list, what I'm eventually going to do once I make my list is I'm going to go through the list and I'm going to categorize who on that list is like me, who's ambitious, who Who wants more? Who wants to be in business for themselves? And I check them off. I also check off who wants out of their job. Who do I know that's in debt that wants to get out of debt? These are 4 characteristics I always look for. Who's ambitious, who's a self-starter, who's positive, and who's coachable. I want people that are ambitious, that want more, but I want somebody who's a self-starter. I don't want to be calling them up in the morning, telling them to get out of bed so that we can go to work. I wanted to be a self-starter. I wanted to be positive because there's nothing worse than hanging around negative people. And of course, I wanted to be coachable. I mean, nothing's worse than somebody who wants to be successful, but they're not willing to listen to people who already are. It's like, that's a sure sign that they're not going to make it because they think they know it all and they don't. So that's a key. And then once I've checked off all these people, and I categorize it as to people like myself that are ambitious. I categorize it to people that I know that are dissatisfied with their job or dissatisfied with something in their life, which means they want more. And then I categorize it to people who might not be dissatisfied, they just want more. Maybe they have a baby on the way and they need a bigger house, or maybe they love to scuba dive, but they live in a country that's landlocked and they never have enough vacation to travel far enough to be able to scuba dive. So, who are people like this? And how do you know these people? Because you communicate with them. And that's why not only do you know people because you've communicated, but you will learn this about people that you meet because you'll ask questions. Hey, how are you? How's the job going? I bet you love it. Oh, you hate it? What do you do for fun? Oh, you like to go boating. What kind of boat do you have? Oh, you don't have a boat. Oh, but you'd like a boat. I'm asking questions because I'm looking for wants. I'm looking for things that people want that my business could provide. Okay. So I'm always adding to my list. The other thing is then you got to contact the people. And so, I understand that most people will sponsor more people in the first 3 months than they do in the next 3 years. So that, why is that? Well, they have more contacts that they haven't contacted when they first start. And that's why it's important to be good at creating communication so that your contacts are constantly growing. But the other thing is they're excited. They haven't had anyone say no yet. They haven't had someone get in and then do nothing to disappoint them. So, this is a numbers game. And so the point of it is contacting how many people you're going to contact, how many people you're going to show the business. When I contact a person, the purpose of my contacting them is to set an appointment. I'm not contacting them to blurt out everything about my business on the phone. I want to be respectful. I want to make, I don't want to assume that they're free to listen to me. I want to tell them that I want to run an idea past them, and my goal is to set an appointment. Now, I created a 4-step approach to contacting people, and I teach that on recruiting on the Blueprint for Success. I hope you have a chance to watch that because it has really served me a great deal, where I contact somebody about what it is they want. Like if I know you want a boat, I'd say, hi, this is Paula. You told me a while back you wanted a boat. Were you serious or were you kidding around? I think I might have a way you can have it. I can't go into it now. When do you have uninterrupted time we can talk? And I want to run this idea past you. That's always a very casual thing to say, but it's comfortable. It's comfortable for me. It's comfortable for them. And so I can present the business over the phone. I can present the business on a Zoom, but I'm trying to set up an appointment to present it. Know what you're going to say when you first get on the phone. Don't get caught up fumbling around, but know exactly what you're going to say. You want to set up an appointment for them to see the business. And when you do show the business, make sure you use tools. You got a website, so you can show them the website. You have videos and things on JMobile you can send to them. Suggested videos also on, there's a site called sharejaness.com, sharejaness.com, and there's videos on there that you can send to people. You can invite them to an opportunity presentation. I know that those take place on Thursdays. You can also invite them to a 3-way call so you can listen to your sponsor help you present the business, and you can learn from, in fact, I'd recommend that you record that so you learn at the same time that they're helping you present, or you can bring them on a 3-way call after you've presented the business, just so they can give a testimonial. You know, hey, I got involved in the business 2 years ago, and this is what happened to me the first 90 days. And oh my gosh, let me tell you what happened the first year. And now the second year I'm here, blah, 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 blah. So testimonials are, you know, we have a saying in this business that, you know, facts tell, but stories sell. Stories, that's why when you look at a commercial on television, the commercial is always about, you know, I was able to get the stain out of Johnny's blue jeans, or I was, you know, they're giving you testimonials, because testimonials are what works. So understand that you want to teach this in a way that it's duplicatable. And, you know, I have a saying that I created, is that success is in the show. It's how many times you show the business. You know, you have to fall in love with this process of showing the business. Don't fall in love with the results, fall in love with the process. You know, keep yourself detached from the results. It doesn't matter if somebody says yes or no. You know, I noticed on Facebook that Malcolm put up a quote from a guy named Bill Britt. Bill Britt was a man that I knew. He was in Amway, and he was very successful. And now this is the extreme case, but he talked about, he showed 1,200 people the business, and 900 of the 1,200 said no. Now, wouldn't you be discouraged if 900 out of 1,200 said no? But then he went on to say 300 said yes, and out of the 385, out of 300, 85 did something. And out of the 85 that did something, 35 did it seriously. But he said out of those 35, 11 made him a multimillionaire. And so, you know, it's a numbers game. You know, you have to understand that you are the storyteller. You are not the story. You are the storyteller. You're not the story. You know, it's just like you are the messenger. You're not the message. So stop. Don't take things personal. When you show somebody, you're just showing next, 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 show next, show next, show next, show next. And understand your excitement is key, because people hear the music. You know, it says here, if you're going, use the phone to send a video. You can also text a message with a video if you're showing them business videos or product videos. Even if you're retailing, you know, there's some great retail videos that you can send somebody. And then set the follow-up. And, you know, when you know, I always ask people, okay, now that we've been through this, I try to say to them something about the fact of when we have a chance or time to look at whatever I've sent you, and then let's set a time to talk after that. And so I try to set a time during the follow-up. You know, even here it says never end a call or meeting without setting a time to talk. And that's why, you know, it gives you a good reason to set a time by asking them, when will you have a chance to see the video? I'll see it tomorrow tomorrow afternoon. Great. How about if we talk tomorrow evening? So you always set a time to get back. And then the close. The close is merely trying to handle objections if they have any. But, you know, and we talk about handling objections in the Blueprint for Success. But one of the things I always say is, what more information do you need to make a decision? Well, Paula, I'd like to know a little bit more about this particular product or that particular product. Okay, tell them that, and then answer their questions. And then after that, what more information do you need to make a decision? So they always know I'm moving them to a decision. So what more information do you need to make a decision? What more information do you need to make a decision? So, well, how does the comp plan exactly, how's this? Okay, explain that. Okay, now what more information do you need to make a decision? I think you covered everything. Okay, let's get started. So, you know, I just assume that they're going to get started, and we move in that direction. So, you know, that's basically the beginning of it. Now, you want to get them to executive within the first 48 hours. That means you want to have one person on their left, one person on the right that's purchased 100 CV. They are now an executive. You know, if you can build enough executives in this business, you could go all the way to a diamond. So once you've helped somebody become an executive, it's a matter of just duplicating that process over and over again. I wanted to mention placement here because I want you to understand that the first person you sponsor, you want them to be on the team leg. That's the leg or the side, the team that you share with your sponsor. Then the second person you sponsor on your personal side. But here's your goal. Your goal is to sponsor 20 people on each team. 20 people on each team. Once you sponsor 20 people on each team, then step back and evaluate where you need to be. And if you need to sponsor another 20 on each team, then that's what you need to do. But I mean, this is, you know, I always tell people it's a 20-20 process because you never know who's going to be the one to take off on which team and what team, what's going to be the leader, who's going to start doing what you're doing. You never know. But if you have that goal to begin with, you're off to a good start. I'm going to tell you, this has been my goal. And I'm telling you the things that had taken me to diamond. Set your preferences on your lock placement on your profile. And this happens to be what it looks like in North America. In North America, if you look in your upper right-hand corner of your website, it'll have hi, whatever your name is. This one happens to be hi Encore Marketing. And then you'll notice on the drop down, it says my account. When you hit my account, this page will come up and your lock placement is under Jeanette's account. So you can place, if the leg that you share with your upline, your sponsor is your right, then you place it on the right. That's where you put the first person. But then come back here and set it for the left for the next person you sponsor. And you can go, go back and forth depending on what directions your upline's giving you. But at the same, and then eventually you might go to automatic and let it just switch back and forth itself. Now, if you're in Europe, make sure I got that up. Nope. I'm sorry. This is the placement in North America. Yeah, in North America. In Europe, I believe it's under profile. In other words, you hit a high marketing and under you go to account, and then instead you hit profile outside of North America. That's what I put here. Finding lock placement outside of North America. It's under my profile is where your lock placement is. And then make sure that when you decide which side you're putting them on, that you submit the changes at the bottom. So make sure that that takes place. So, your sponsor is going to help you with this, help you get going on this, and help you figure out all the things as you start to become more familiar. Build executives. We have a concept called learn, do, teach. Your sponsor is going to teach you, so you're learning. Then they're going to watch you do it, and then you're going to be able to teach it to your people, and that's the key. And then your first 30 days, your goal is to sponsor 4 to 6 plus people those first 30 days. Bring in 4 to 6 people for sure, and get your business out of the gate as quick as you can. You're building 2 legs. So don't just focus on one, you're building 2. And then focus on the 20-20. And that's going to be the real key, I think, to you having the right goals in place. Don't just think because somebody says, oh, I'm going to be your star, that you just have to sponsor them and you're good to go. There's so many people that only sponsor 2 or 3 people. And I'm going to tell you, in order to get where you want to go, as far as replacing your income at your job or whatever, you've got to set your sights on 20-20. That's what you want to set your sights on. So hopefully that helps with getting started. It gives you a good base to get off the ground. What I want to do is show you a page that I created for, let me see how to get rid of this page here. A page that I started for the pain relief, because I know that's a big product now that's in Africa. So let me pull this up real quick, see if I can share that. It says, user-friendly vials, fast-acting for pain and itching, apply to clean skin, massage until fully absorbed. Use as needed. Do not combine with other topical pain products. Avoid contact with eyes. Can be used on adults and children 2 years of age or older. That's what I put on the bottom. And so if you want to take a picture of this, if you can, you're more than happy to. I give you some statistics at the beginning. 1 in 5 adults suffer from pain. Global pain management drug market size right now is estimated to be at 71.4 billion in 2019, and it's anticipated to be 91.6 billion in 2027. I mean, that's a huge market. And I happen to put here 50 million Americans are affected by pain, and pain is the reason that 40% for 40% of doctor visits. And so now I put in here what makes for relief. I made this page so that I could hand it to customers. I gave this to some doctors. I gave it to physical therapists, chiropractors, because they're dealing with pain. So I gave it to them as a handout and I love it that it's a vial because I could give samples. So that made it nice. I gave a sample, and here's the thing I said. I told them it was proprietary, scientifically advanced, doctor formulated, FDA approved for over the counter, and there's no product like it in the world. It's advanced stem cell technology combined with whatever that word is. Maybe Eva can say it, but anyway, it has also black peppercorn and menthol. And I talk about what that root does. It's full of antioxidants and amino acids. The black peppercorn extract actually calms the nerve endings. It's targeted, it's topical, it's non-numbing, non-greasy, clear, and non-staining. Vegan, silicone-free, sulfate-free. It's not tested on animals. Paraben-free, whatever that word is, it's free of that too. But I talk about some of the factors in it, and the delivery system, 100% plant-derived. MSM enhances membrane flexibility, which keeps the bioactive compounds penetrate the outermost layers of the skin cells for most effective delivery. I just think this is a fantastic product, and I'm glad that Africa now has it. So I wanted to make sure that we touched on it for a minute, just to let you know that we do have documentation. I know that there's a video of Dr. Newman on this particular product, so you might want to take a chance to look at that as well. So